LifeLock is for you, okay? Insurance is for the company itself, okay? So if the company suffers one of those types of losses, you owe $60,000 for roofer sends in a invoice with a new banking routing number. Now, $60,000 is missing. Now, at LifeLock, all it's going to do is watch you to make sure and protect you to make sure that nobody steals your identity. Yeah. We're talking about a loss of money.
Of money,
okay?
yes. Yeah.
Actual loss of money.
HOA Insights is brought to you by 5 companies that care about board members: Association Insights and Marketplace, Association Reserves, Community Financials, Kevin Davis Insurance Services, and the Inspectors of Election. You'll find links to their website and social media in the show notes.
Hi, I'm Kevin Davis, the president of Kevin Davis Insurance Services.
And I'm Julie Adaman, president of Adaman Inc. And this is HOA Insights, where we promote common sense
for common areas. Welcome to episode number 144. We're back again speaking with an HOA management expert and regular co-host, Julie Adaman. Over the past several episodes, we've talked about the challenges community associations are facing as we move into 2026. Everything from inflation to governance pressure. But today, we're focusing on a risk that many board members know exists, but don't always fully understand, and that is cyber risk. You see, community associations are increasingly being targeted by cyber criminals, whether through phishing emails, fraudulent fraud transfer requests, ransomware, or data breaches. At the same time, we're seeing boards and managers turn to new tools like AI to get quick answers and make decisions. So today's conversation is about how we can get a better understanding where cyber risk really comes from and how AI fits into the picture. And while relying on the right kind of expertise matters when something goes wrong. Last week's episode, number 143, was a great conversation with Candace Scanlon in another one of our popular Board Hero episodes. If you get CAI's Common Ground magazine, you might have heard about her in the November-December 2025 episode. She's a longtime board member at our Southern California Association, and in our conversations with Candace, she shared a number of great lessons she learned over the years. If you missed that episode or any other prior episode, visit us at HOAinsights.org. Search for HOA Insights on YouTube or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform. Subscribing helps us reach more boards with free educational episodes, and that's how we strengthen the community association industry across the country. Now, those who are watching on YouTube, notice we have our HOA Insight mugs here. Here they go. Here's mine. Julie, you have yours?
Got my merch.
Okay, go to our merch store. We have a lot of free tools there. A lot of board members Zoom backgrounds, help you look professionals and prepared for your next meeting. And as always, we enjoy hearing from you. If you have a hot topic or any kind of concern or any questions, just drop us a note at 805-203-3130 or email us at podcast@hoainsight.org. But today, the program is on focusing help and safety in 2026. So, ready to get started, Julie?
I am. Let's do it. For the folks, it's a little bit different because I am the moderator of this event because Kevin is the expert on cyber risk, right? So I'm going to ask some basic questions because this is something I don't really know a lot about. So hopefully those of you who don't know anything about cyber risks as it relates to your community association will also get some good information like I'm hoping to. So Kevin, my question, are you ready?
I am ready. Okay. Looking forward to it. My favorite topic is cyber.
Is it really?
One thing it is. Because it's that one area now that I see what's happening and nobody really is their heads are in the sand. Simple as that.
I think just a lot of people are unaware or they just don't think about it, especially in the context of HOAs, because honestly, even though your HOA is pretty much can be a ginormous corporation with millions of dollars in budgets, we just think of ourselves as small time, but I guess we're not. So, okay, let's start here. I've got these written down and wearing glasses, people, so I can actually see what I've written here. So, Kevin, let's start where it's basic. When you talk about cyber risk in terms of HOAs, community associations, what does that really mean? What does that mean to you when you start talking to people about cyber risk?
Sure. We all understand what cyber criminals, what they do. They're after two pieces of things for a community association. They're after the money, reserve account, operating account, all the money, but they also are after your data. So when you talk about a community association being so small and so insignificant that we don't think cyber criminals are looking for you, you're the perfect target.
Okay.
So we start there. That's where we start at.
Yeah, well, okay.
Cyber criminals looking at that. You right now, because you said the most magic thing. I don't know really much about cyber, and we're small. That's the problem right off the bat.
We definitely have that mindset, that's for sure. So, okay, now we know why they're a target because we definitely have money. I mean, operating account, reserve accounts. I mean, some associations have reserve accounts in the multi-millions of dollars. So I can see that would be a big target. And of course, those of us who manage or are on boards, that's just not front of mind. It's not top of mind, I guess is how I want to say that. So, okay, so how big of an issue has this become? Let's say from 5 or 6 years ago, what percentage of increase would you think we've had in cybercrime, or at least attempted cybercrime?
All right. When we talk about cybercrime for community association, it went from zero, non-existent 5, 6 years ago, to today is quite normal. Let me give you a perfect example what we see in cybercrime that impacts everybody. All right. You are a professional manager, right? You have clients, right?
Yep.
All right. What I do as a cyber criminal, I will hack into your system. Okay. I just sent you an email pretending to be Kevin Davis. Okay. So I hacked into your system. All of a sudden, I get a list of all your clients. And guess what I do with that list of clients?
Sell it?
I send them, all your clients, a invoice saying the amount that is due has been, you're 60 days late, you're 30 days late. But if you pay it now, we'll give you a 10% discount. Here's the key.
It's phishing. I mean, what they're doing is the phishing.
But
yeah.
Here's the key, though. Here's my new bank and routing number.
Yeah.
That's the key. That is the key. How many managers, how many board members, how many landscapers, how many roofers get tricked into doing that one thing?
It has to be thousands because I mean, even just owning obviously I own my own business. I sit in front of a computer most of the day. I get stuff like that all the time. And I think what I would tell anyone in the management side and the board side both is that if it doesn't look right, don't click on it. I mean, don't just assume that it's safe. Don't. Call the company or send them a separate email going, did you guys send this out? That's what I do when I get those weird phishing things. And I know that they say they're from someone who's maybe a client of mine, a management company or something. And I will just take that and forward it to the people I know at the company and go, this is what's going on. They're like, oh, thanks for letting me know. And they send out a blanket email to their clients saying, this was not us. It's huge.
That's the problem. See, but you're smarter right there than most other. It's not a matter of being smart. It's a matter of
a little savvy.
Taking that initiative. You go, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. Now, as a board member or a management company, guess what? Most times you guys are so busy that you don't take that extra step. As soon as you see this is my new bank and routing number, you go, oh, I can't believe they changed. Now, how many times have you ever changed your bank and routing number in your life?
Never.
No. And we don't usually change bank
only
and routing
if you change
numbers.
Your bank. I mean, right? It's only if you change your bank. Yeah.
Exactly. But we don't do that often. But when you see an email that says, here's my new bank and routing number, then all of a sudden you said it right. You call that number. You say, wait, not call that number. You call the association. You call the management company. You call the landscaper. You call the roofer. There's so many contracts that a board member and a management company are dealing with that they get faked way too often. That right now is the number one problem that we see in community everywhere. Not community associations.
It's everywhere.
You get them, I get them. But in community association, we call it board members rely on the management company. The management company is relying on that board because, again, management companies are so busy that fake board member, Kevin Davis, the board member of Happy Valley, all of a sudden says, I've been waiting a long time for the new pool furniture you haven't submitted yet, or the new light bulbs that you should have said a long time ago. Well, here's the box, here's the light bulbs, or here's the money you can pay for it. Then all of a sudden, what happens is the board never gets it. The money that was due, the landscaper, or you, the manager, you don't get it. And now all of a sudden, lawsuits happen. You start putting these liens on the property, and it creates a huge problem for associations.
Yes, and you're seeing it. Would you say you see a new case weekly, monthly, daily? What do you see?
They are happening more and more where it went from zero. So now they're coming past my desk a lot more to the point where it's like, all we can say is everybody out there, if you have a doubt, think it's going to be fraudulent, it is fraudulent. Because from an insurance point of view, it's so new, most insurance carriers do not provide coverage for. It's called social engineering.
Now, that's what I was going to ask you about. Now, is there coverage for this?
Yeah. Okay. So social engineering is the topic. That's what we're talking about. And social engineering is when you voluntarily give money away. Okay? So when you talk about insurance, when you voluntarily give money away, guess what you just did? You voluntarily gave money away.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's not a claim under insurance policy because you voluntarily gave it away. So if you were tricked into it as opposed to clicking on something and you downloaded something and now the money is gone, you don't have knowledge of that, but you actually got tricked into it. Insurance doesn't cover being tricked. It doesn't cover scams. So what has happened over the past year or so, some insurance providers says, we understand. You have nonprofit board members that are unaware, so we have to provide that coverage. So the number one lesson right now is to see if you have social engineering and insurance under your policy.
That's very interesting. So that's a brand new thing. That's fascinating. At first, I would have thought, well, of course there's going to be coverage for that. But the point is that you're voluntarily giving it away. But now that they're willing to, and how is the cost? Is it relatively nominal or?
It is. This is the part that you should be able to get it. But this is the problem. Most insurance providers don't understand social engineering. So you have to have a specialty policy to get it. If you have a specialty policy, it maybe costs $100. Add it to your insurance coverage.
Oh, that's quite reasonable. My goodness. If you're going to get that, you should get that. But it's just like, so for my business and for personally, we have an organization called LifeLock. So if your identity is stolen, they will, they give you X amount of dollars of time to fix it for you. Is it something like that? Do they fix it?
Yes, it's a perfect example. LifeLock is for you. Okay. Insurance is for the company itself. Okay. So if the company suffers one of those types of losses where all of a sudden your reserve account is gone because, somebody said, okay, the roofing contract is done. You owe $60,000 for roofer. Roofer sends in a invoice with a new bank and routing number. Now $60,000 is missing.
Yeah.
Now at LifeLock, all it's going to do is watch you to make sure and protect you to make sure that nobody steals your identity.
Right.
We're talking about a loss of money, okay? Actual loss of money. Now, to go to the other side for data breaches. So we're talking about two things here. We're talking about the loss of funds, which is social engineering, but LifeLock really talks about loss of data. So now all of a sudden, me as a cyber criminal, not only have access to all your money, because I tricked you into giving me all of your information. I'm looking at every individual board member, but also looking at every unit owner you have there. And I want to hack them so I can create an identity for them.
And all of a sudden you've become a Nigerian prince who wants to give me money, right?
Oh, yes, exactly. Yes. But it's interesting, though, because, again, it's easy to influence somebody if I pretend to be somebody you know. So if I've said, listen, this is Kevin Davis. We've known each other for a really long time. There's a Nigerian prince that I am well aware of right now. And so you get to be so busy. Sometimes you let's say, listen, I give you a perfect example of what happened to me. When I first started about 2 or 3 years ago, I started talking about social engineering. So I went to Hawaii to do a presentation for the Hawaii CAI chapter. And so I put it in LinkedIn that I'm going to Hawaii to talk about cyber. By the time I got there, my CFO said, how many gift cards do you want? I said, how many gift cards? I never ordered any gift cards. I said, no, I got an email from you saying that you were now in Hawaii and you need 10 to 15 gift cards that you can give out. And they have guess what? They have a new address for you to send it to.
Yes. That's quite the scam. Or now let me talk about this because this will dovetail perfectly into this. How are they utilizing AI for fake voices on the phone?
Yes.
Yes, this is something people really need to be aware of. Talk about that a little bit, Kev.
All right, this is an interesting thing. Right now, it's easy to hack your system and get your data and to say, I'm Julie Ademan, please pay now, to avoid late fees. And you send it out. without any picture or anything. But now in AI, right now, I have your picture in front of you. Could you imagine manipulating words in there and saying, hi, Happy Acres Community Association, Julie here, and guess what? If you pay today, because we're trying to really evolve and get bigger, you pay today, I'm going to offer you a 10% discount just by paying right now, because guess what? This is a great time. You got Valentine's Day coming along, and we're looking for right now to to help you, community association. And now it's your face and your voice.
And your voice.
It is a huge problem.
And let me tell folks out there. So I have in my business here, I have a series of online classes for managers and board members, actually. So I have two separate sets. But the managers one, I have just redone them all, modernized the way they look and that type of thing. And I used an AI avatar. It's easy stuff. It's not even very expensive. And you go onto a website, you pay them, obviously, for the use of their services, and including the avatars. And if you didn't know, in fact, I sent it and showed it to Robert Nordlund, our other illustrious co-host, because I used my son as the avatar. I just used his picture, and it's sounds just like him, totally. And he's like, "Oh, is that Spencer?" I'm like, no. And Robert's pretty savvy about this. And it was because obviously I know, because I work with it all the time. And I knew, he's my kid, so I know all the nuances. But if you didn't necessarily know, you would not know. And it to me, I say it's wondrous, but it's a little frightening too.
And from an insurance point of view, we have no idea what's covered and what's not covered, because in other words, in order for it to be a loss under an insurance policy, it has to be fortuitous, accident. Okay, it can't be, and you have to be unaware of it. But these things you are aware. When you give money away, there's awareness factor there. So where the insurance company says it's covered and where it's not, we're learning every day. AI is going to create all kind of headaches for us in our future, because it goes back to that breach of fiduciary duty. As board members, you have to act in the best interest of the association. So now, you're not a technology specialist, you're not a CIO, you don't have a contract. You enter all these contracts, but not one of them mentions what happens in the event of a cyber loss. So there are things there now that as boards, as management companies, you got to think about in terms of what happens if there is a cyber loss.
You know what, Kevin? I bet we need to go to commercial break for a minute for our sponsors, because we're about 18 minutes in. Think we should?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right, everyone. We'll see you shortly.
Are you part of a homeowners association or condominium board? Making the right financial decisions for your community's future is crucial. At Association Reserves, we're proud to serve communities nationwide, specializing in reserve studies tailored to your community's unique needs. Our expert team helps you accurately assess your property's assets, forecast future expenses, and develop a solid funding plan. Whether you're a small HOA or a large condominium association, we've got you covered. Visit reservestudy.com to learn more and get a proposal for your association.
And we're back, Julie. That was a fascinating conversation. So what's next? What do you got next for me?
Well, here's one question. This is what I was thinking about right before we went to break, was that, okay, I'm a management company owner. Let's say I own a management company, and it could be a big one, mid-size, doesn't really matter. But the breach was through one of my staff members. And then association money got pilfered. Have you seen that? And how can management companies get coverage for that, or what?
Oh, sure. Okay, so this is what happened in a management company. We've seen this on several occasions. Somebody goes to a management company office. They pretend to be the UPS person, the janitor, or somebody from the home office. They go to a server room. Once they get into that server room, either A, take the entire server, try to put a thumb drive in it and to get all the information out, or they figure out some way of getting that data. Now, once they have that data, it's like now all of a sudden you want to go to the bank, Julie, and you want to walk into the bank and either deposit some money for the association, remove money for the association. Well, guess what happened? Once I had that data and information, it's like me walking into the bank and saying, guess what? I'm Julie Adaman, and I want the reserve account of Happy Acres right now. Okay? I have all the documentation you need, and please give it to me. And they will give me a check right there on the spot.
Wow. So now, do you think it would be prudent, I guess it would be, for if a board is, they've got, they're going out to bid for a new management company. Let's just say they're doing that, or they're getting bids, plus they're getting one from their current company. Is it prudent for them to ask if the management company has this type of coverage?
Two things. number one, not only ask, but say, what happens in the event of a loss? What happens? What participation are you going to do for us? Because as a board member, we don't have cyber. We don't understand it, but we need some, I want assurances from you, because it's not going to be in the contract at all. There's nothing in the contract, but we want assurances. So we want to hear from the management company. Yes, we have coverage. Okay. If there is a cyber event, and we will help you if there is a cyber event.
Well, that's very interesting. So do you see a reason why it shouldn't be in the contract? I'm not trying to make work for people. I'm just asking.
It definitely should be in the contract, because this is what, let me give you an example of a cyber breach, data breach that has happened in the past for a community association. So Julie, you're the president. I'm the treasurer of the community association. We go to the board meeting, right? And we're sitting there, I said, hey, Julie, so what's going on? I said, wow, weird thing happened. I got a letter from the IRS. They said that somebody sent my return in already. I can't believe it. And it's 2026, and I've even got all my information. I can even turn it in already. And I go, you know what? I got to tell you, I got the same letter from the IRS. I can't believe that happened. And then all of a sudden, another Robert Nordlund comes in and said, same thing happened to me. Then we realize, our association's been hacked. Now we call up the property management company, and the property management company will say, we don't understand. We don't know anything about it. Or we do know about it, and we have no coverage. So good luck. A lot of different things can happen in that scenario, but we know right now that association's been hacked because 3 or 4 of us got letters from the IRS saying our information has been stolen. So now all of a sudden we know association's been hacked. So we go to the management company and say, this has happened. The management company will look and see that it only impacted your association. So it might be a 12-year-old inside apartment year number 2.
Right. Yeah.
Or somebody inside in apartment number 2. It's not us. Or they can say, yes, you're not the only association that's been hacked. So what you need to do is we're working on it to find out how to handle it. In the meantime, by law, there's certain things you have to do, community association. That means you have to have notifications. You have certain things you got to do. You have to do by law. So now you have to be prepared for that. And now the association come back. The management company can also say, no coverage at all. We don't know. We don't help you. So my point here is this. The association has to have their own cyber policy, and the management company has their own cyber policy.
Kind of like workers' comp. It's a good idea.
And even better, it's like for the crime insurance. Remember, historically, we talked about crime insurance, where the management company needs their crime policy, the association needs a crime policy. That way, you don't have that problem anymore. If you are hacked and you don't know whose fault it is, you have your own coverage protection.
You have your own, and so this is 2 boards. I would completely recommend that you make sure your company has this type of insurance, and you need to have it as well. It's a relatively nominal cost for both parties.
Yes.
Is what it seems to me. And it's just like way back in the old days, Kevin, when we were in our 20s and we started in this industry. It was the 80s. It was wild, but remember when workers' comp, associations were like, well, why do we need to have it? We don't have employees. Yep. Just in case, it's a belt and suspenders thing. It was just in case somebody's on your property and their insurance had lapsed, they get hurt. Or if you have board members that are out doing things they shouldn't be doing, like screwing in light bulbs or doing minor maintenance, and somebody gets hurt, you absolutely need this coverage, especially in states that are far more litigious than others. California being one. You could go to Illinois or New York or that type of thing. But still, it's just belt and suspenders for everyone. And by the way, for you management company people out there, you should absolutely have this type of coverage. Wouldn't you think, Kev?
Exactly, because they're the ones that have the most exposure. Yeah. Because they overworked. They don't have IT specialists. They don't have a chief operating officer of technology, a technology officer. And they are so busy. And they're juggling so many different balls. It's so easy to influence them. And that's all what cyber is doing today, is saying, guess what? I can help you. I can help you save money. I can help you to get your job done better, save time. Just click right here, right now, and we've done it.
No bueno, people. No bueno. That's not good at all. Wow.
And that's the problem. Oh, there's another area too in cyber that I got to make sure we mention and talk about. Is something new is going on, is that there are people going into condominium association in their mailboxes and breaking those locks out and stealing checks out of there. And because the technology is easy to whitewash the checks and to issue and to cash those checks. And because we don't do monthly reconciliation anymore, most of us don't, we forget all about those checks until once again somebody calls up and says, I haven't been paid. So it's really, right now, technology is moving faster than we ever could imagine, and it's creating a huge problem for all of us.
And it's not going to get slower. That is not going to slow down. So I think maybe some of the best advice you or I could give any of them is that, rely on your expert, your board. Call your insurance agent or your broker and find out if you have this coverage and get it if you don't have it. Rely on your experts.
Not only rely on experts, don't rely on ChatGPT. Because a lot of people will go to ChatGPT and says, listen, do I really need social engineering coverage if I live in a community association? They may say, no, social engineering is designed for multinational corporations and blah, blah, blah. And then you'll come back to me later on and say, Kevin, you tried to sell me social engineering. And according to ChatGPT, they said that it's not necessary at this point in time.
Yeah.
That's the future problem that we have to worry about also.
This is very true. And this goes for anybody who's in and around the industry, whether it's your service provider, a consultant, a management company, manager, anybody, and board members. Everyone should be aware of this. I mean, I use ChatGPT. I use several of the AIs to assist with what I'm doing, whether it's something I'm volunteering for. I volunteer with a couple of organizations as well as my own business. And I utilize those tools. They are tools. Tools are not perfection. They are not going to take the place of your expert or even your own eyeballs. So if you have something written up, make sure and go over it, because I have found glaring errors, absolute glaring errors. Yeah. But it can be quite a time saver, but it is not a guru. It's not a doctor, nor does it play one on TV.
No. If it did, at least it make me feel more comfortable, right?
Yeah, but it did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Okay. It sure does. There's a lot of holidays. Yeah.
Oh, my. So I had a couple other questions here. Let me drill down on one thing. Okay. What mistakes do you see, Kevin, associations repeating over and over with regard to this?
Not making that phone call.
Yeah.
As simple as that. Just getting that information in, assuming it's correct, and paying out the money or whatever it is they're doing. Or that's number one. The second mistake is we make mistakes.
We do.
Technology is there to make us more efficient and make us work quicker. But what happens when we push that button is the wrong button. Now all of a sudden I'm sending out data to everybody and not data to that one person. So, and that's the kind of things that really we have to be careful of.
Yes.
Is that we take a step back and go, okay, wait a minute. I have data that's personal identifiable information that I need to send to the board, not send to everybody. And if we send to everybody, that's where your LifeLock comes into play.
Yes.
Now you have to send a LifeLock to everybody, whose name appeared in there. So now you have that information.
And and if you're a big organization, a large association with a couple of thousand or 5, 6, 7,000 units, that can be a nightmare to fix. And for boards, Kevin, are you at the point, or you maybe, and the legal eagles out there, are you at the point where you think if someone does not have this social engineering insurance or to insurance against cyber attacks, that they are breaching their fiduciary duty as board members?
That's the key, because guess what happens? Now all of a sudden you and I found out the IRS has our information. Now, we are board members, so we have to do something about it. Let's say that we go, well, we went to the manager, and the manager will get back to us. Now we go back to our day. Now what happens is unit number 10, and 11, and 12, and 18, and 35, and 45 find out that they've been hacked also. We had a meeting. We knew about it, but we chose to do nothing about it.
Yeah, you've breached your duty
right
Absolutely,
there.
That's what I would say too. So, I hate to tell you, board members, I've been in your position numerous times as well as a board member, as well as a HOA consultant and that type of thing. But you have one more thing to think about. But you don't have to think that hard, because all you got to do is pick up the phone, call your insurance agent and say, hey, why don't you come give us a presentation at the next board meeting about cyber risk. Again, use your experts. They're happy to help you.
Go to any insurance professional and say, I'm concerned about my cyber exposure.
Yeah.
If we have a cyber loss tomorrow, I have no idea what to do. No idea. If I'm in a board meeting and my money is gone because I was tricked into it, or I clicked on the wrong thing, or all my data, my personal identifiable information is out to all the unit owners, what do I do now? and you call your insurance person and says, guess what? I have a cyber policy that will protect you in those situations.
That's great. Well, Kevin, I don't know, should we go out? We're at 32 minutes. Are we there?
You know what? I think that was a great closing. I just gave a great closing.
You did give a great closing. Good. That was it. Kevin's work here is done.
Microphone drop, right?
Yeah, it was total mic drop. Of course, we'd have to take the headsets off. That wouldn't work.
Sure.
All right.
All right. Listen, Julie, thanks a lot. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
And highly informative. So for everybody out there, if anyone has any questions, you can email them into podcast@hoainsights.com.
I look forward to it. And I guess next time we're going to have another one of our trends coming up for 2026. I think we say 19 something. Wow. It's been 26 years we've been in 20 in this decade. Too much for me.
Kevin,
really
Kevin, getting old as hell.
Yes. Listen, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Take care.
You've been listening to HOA Insights, Common Sense for Common Areas. You can listen to the show on our podcast website, hoainsights.org, or subscribe on any of the most popular podcast platforms. You can also watch the show on our YouTube channel. Check the show notes for helpful links. If you like the show and want to support the work we do, you can do so in a number of ways. The most important thing you can do is engage in the conversation. Leave a question in the comments section on our YouTube video. You can also email your questions or voice memos to podcast@hoainsights.org or leave us a voicemail at 805-203-3130. If you gain any insights from the show, please do us a huge favor by sharing the show with other board members you know. You can also support us by supporting the brands that sponsor this program. Please remember that the views and opinions expressed by the podcast do not constitute legal advice. You'll want to consult your own legal counsel before making any important decisions. Finally, this podcast was expertly mixed and mastered by Stokelight Video and Marketing. With Stokelight on your team, you'll reach more customers with marketing expertise that inspires action. See the show notes to connect with Stokelight.